Let's go!
Let's just get right into it. More news. This one I legit want to talk about because it makes me want to go back and reminisce a little bit. This is possibly going to have a pretty substantial effect on fighting games in the future and how the distribution of fighting game marketing is going to have a relationship between developers and players. This was kind of a big deal. I got sent this earlier on Twitter, and there's a new agreement in Steam going forward that has recently been changed and will go into effect relatively soon, if not has already happened. So, overview. Season passes and purchasable items of DLC with a promise of future content to be delivered to people, either as separate DLC or as additional content unlocked within a base game. To make this commitment to players, developers must describe each of the major content delivery dates and the contents to players by entering each date and content below. Use the general about this DLC section to learn more about the pass and content delivery dates of specific content releases. When you are ready to tell players that you have released content of the season pass, use the marked as released option, and it sort of highlights this stuff. So what the hell does this mean? Tekken just had a DLC season that is currently ongoing. And in the latest Tekken DLC season, we got the first character, and we effectively buy a season pass early on. But we know what the first character is, and there's a promise of 3 other characters. Those 3 other characters, even though we have committed money, are not known. They turn into silhouettes, and they're colored silhouettes at times, with sort of leaving you guessing what it could possibly be. But you effectively have to commit to what that shit is going to be and pay money for it ahead of time. And this is not a weird practice. Admittedly, for fighting games, this is going to have a pretty substantial effect on the way games are just distributed and the way developers can even talk about it. There might no longer be, I'd say, the mid-season shocker of a crazy character being added like halfway through a roster or something like that. Franchises that don't do this, like Street Fighter, for example, we've known the DLC characters for Street Fighter for the past like 2 seasons. They just tell us all of them, and they give us general release dates of time, which I don't even know if that's going to apply anymore. We'll see, you know? All I got to say is that there is a creative history with the reveal and tease of potential characters in fighting games. And I have to say myself that I might have been responsible for making one. This might have been me back in the year of our Lord 2014, early 2015. This was before games had season passes, for anybody that doesn't know. This was before there was even season passes in games. Killer Instinct was the first one to even have it, and you could effectively invest into a season pass for a game early on. I'm not going to take full credit for it because I'm not the marketing guy, but it was like, we want to tease these things, but we don't want to show them what can we do. And I'm like, oh, let's just do like silhouettes, but it'll be obvious silhouettes. It was like, people will know that's a dinosaur. People will know, you know, that's Cinder. But I was saying people won't know how they look, which is what people are looking forward to. You know, people are kind of wondering what the hell that is. So this born a meme in the time frame called Broccoli Man, which was Agados. And good old Broccoli Man, I made him green. It's what everyone thought this dude was. Like, what the hell? Broccoli Man? Again, season passes would sort of catch on after this. I didn't make season passes. I just made the trailer for this. How we show people and tease people for stuff was something that we delegated amongst the Killer Instinct team. And I came up with this idea. But the weirdest part is that this idea is sort of carried forward into like several games constantly. You know, I almost want to go back and like take a look at it of season passes, pending how this shit works. There could be a significant change in the way this shit works going forward. So obviously Killer Instinct, you know, and yes, about yay all right around here where everyone's watching, the teaser begins, you know, of Broccoli Man and his ragtag group of individuals. And watch this. Here's all of them. And another one. There's another one. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking silhouettes, my dude. There's so many of them. You get silhouette jump scared. And here's the thing. Why was this even done this way? Did other games do this before? I don't know. I can't tell you. There was a reason. These characters and their actual final visuals were not done. I can tell you emphatically right? We definitely want to create excitement about said characters, but I can emphatically tell you Aghanos changed a shit ton. Cinder, yeah, definitely changed a lot. There was a pretty significant argument internally that like, no, what is happening with Cinder, no es bueno. And that needs to change. And I got several people and a lot of people that had the same sentiment to change that. If there was a reveal initially of what that dude was going to look like, it would not have made people very happy based on what eventually came out. And yeah, other stuff changed too. Like this was, I believe, Shadow Jago, and the last one was technically Omen. Right? Technically Omen. But Omen's design changed several times too and was completely different by the time he eventually came out. So to be real, you wanted to get people excited that we have stuff coming, but you can't just throw up 7 new characters and people just go like, okay, so I'll just use my imagination. Like we wanted to give people a bit more than that. The weirdest part is that this would really continue in a whole bunch of games. KOF 15, Shingo, Season Pass. Do we have, there they are. There's our famous silhouettes. You know, historically, I would go back in and stick Rock Howard into any single one of these and find a way to like make his freakish body fit in any of these situations back when he wasn't in the game. You know what I mean? There's a weird history of this stuff. Did Injustice do the same thing? Well, no, Injustice 2 just gave you the info, right? To be real. Yeah, no. NRS hasn't historically done this. I will say, NRS in almost every situation sort of breaks it down for you like right off the bat, and you get an idea of what's going on right when it's going on and stuff. Did Smash do this too? I'm looking for silhouettes, Sakurai-san.
Like the Fighter's Pass, ideally, we should reveal what's included before it becomes available for purchase.
Yeah.
However, please allow us to offer this pass before we're ready to reveal its contents.
And yeah, and there you go. And that's effectively the relationship that we have with it, right? And he literally says it right here. No silhouettes, but offering sort of like a pre-order and the ability for you to purchase something based on their history. It's gonna bang, bro. Trust me. Like, listen.
I hope only those who are confident in its value will purchase it.
That's the way the relationship has been for a lot of games. For a lot of games between the player and everything, where it's like, if you like this, it's almost like a trust me, bro kind of situation, which is like, And here's the thing. This effectively, if this does go down and actually change things, will just be on one platform. And I think there is going to be an overall argument of developers that have marketing plans for multiple platforms that are going to likely have a thing to say about all of this. Am I confident that this is 100% going to change? I don't know, man. Some of the wording in this has been relatively weird and sort of like vague about what it could contain, how many it can contain, you know? I think the one thing that they might try to get this on is that you say that there's a certain amount of characters in the season pass, but then you actually change that amount of content over time. That's messed up. But fighting games do tell you, hey, there are 4 characters in the season pass. Here is their approximate time frames. You know what I mean? And yeah, once again, ain't no silhouettes on Street Fighter. They always just laid it out. Like, here's all the characters that are just coming over the next year. You know what I mean? Not every single game has done this. It's been an interesting relationship between players as well as developers. Season 2 had it. Season 1 and 2 had it. And the weirdest part is that somehow, in some way, about this happening for so many years and potentially being changed now, I might have somehow just may have somehow had an involvement. I didn't mean for this to happen, my dude, okay? And this wasn't entirely my idea, but when we're pitching around ideas and what we can do to get people excited for the season and yada, 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 the silhouettes became very popular from this point forward. And I'd like to remind you, if it wasn't for our brave and bold marketing concepts for our little Xbox 360 game that came out on Xbox One, you would not have gotten the Broccoli Man silhouette, okay? What a powerful character image that is. Such a legendary moment of getting clearly the Raptor. Wait, hold on a second. Broccoli Man and clearly the Velociraptor? My dude. But what the hell is Broccoli Man? Come on. Now look at this bitch's aura. And then he turned out to be a boring ass golem. Maybe not so boring, but not a Broccoli Man. Come on, dude. Shit.